Hi everyone, this is Andreas. I'm going to tell you about the trilogy of Interrater reliability, and especially in our context, IELTS writing and IELTS speaking context, especially in terms of rating or grading these works of our students. The term the trilogy of Interrater reliability does not come from my own idea. It's from the Thomas Eckes 2015-2023 with a book title Language Testing and Evaluation. So today I would like to share with you about what is meant by the trilogy of Interrater reliability. So of course we are raters of Alspresso in this case, and we need to have reliability between us. We need to have a valid judgment of what the scores that we assign to the students mean. And we need to also have an inter-rater reliability in a way that between you and me, between me and another person, and that person to you, we have a similar or comparable reliability scoring. So if inter-rater reliability is sufficiently high, this is evident by the score 1, which is the perfect score, which is impossible to achieve, I would say. And so between zero point 0.7 or up, then the raters, us, share the same view of the construct of IELTS writing and IELTS speaking, and also the same view of the rating scale, what the rubric means, what um, fluency means, what coherence means, what test response means, and so on and so forth. So the raters will provide accurate ratings in terms of coming close to an examiner's true level of proficiency. True here means the true score of the students, and we want that. We want to provide reliable, valid score to our students. So what do we need? We need to have a rater training. Why is it important? Because by having rater training, we can be more consistent, we can be accurate in our evaluations, and we can have some sort of standardized rating among these outspecial tutors. We can also minimize our bias and subjectivity. So when the students ask me, why did you give the score 6 or 6.5? We can explain that through our rating, through our agreement in our so this is the standard that we have. So when we talk about this statement, when we present this statement to the student, there is a certain benchmark that we follow, and we are proposing this benchmark that we need to have a standardized rating among ourselves. So it minimizes our bias and subjectivity in terms of we are also responsible to what we are doing in this case. We can provide fair and reliable assessments. Of course, we're trying to provide a score that as close as to what the students do or that what the students perform in that context in that time. And we can also create some trusted decision-making processes that will lead to valid decisions, of course. We need to also have repeated trainings, not only once, perhaps once a month or once every 2 months or once every 3 months, depending on how the outsourcing management deals with it. But it is important to have a regular training because then we can recalibrate ourselves, perhaps because of having some classes, then we know that, oh, this is standard of 8, this is standard of 7.5, that all of us may not agree on. So I agree this is 7, this is 6.5, this is 5, depending on our own agreement in this case. So consensus index is important. So to reinforce and solidify knowledge and skills, we need repeated trainings. Repeated trainings are also important for us being proficient and up to date in our evaluation methods. In this case, we can be able to provide up-to-date evaluation methods like the new rubric that was out in July of 2023, because we need to share this and we need to adjust our scaling or rating system. I think with this new rubric, there are clearer explanations about what they mean by fluency and coherence, what they mean by grammar, and so on. Okay. Point number 3, adaptive to changing circumstances, criteria, or evaluation standards. Strongly related to the second point. And the fourth point is the culture of improvement and growth. In Alspresso, we would like to create a community, a sense of belonging, and we can grow and improve together. Okay. And like this occasion, I'm sharing this just because I want to, not, and no one asked me to do this, but I want this for us as a momentum to improve and grow together. Okay, not one person going this direction, another person going to that direction, but we have some one particular direction that we go, which is up, and then we grow together. And this repeated trainings is for our skill refinement. The more we have trainings, the better our skills will be, and then the more refined we will have in rating our students' performance. And the third aspect of the trilogy is the demonstration of Interrater reliability. Okay, we have the training, we have repeated that several times, and what can we infer? What values can we use to show our Interrater reliability? So this is what statistic comes into play. Cohen's kappa is a consensus index. This is what we are after. So we want to limit outliers. If a student deserves the score 6, the true score is 6, perhaps we can score him or her in terms of our own judgment with 6.5 and 5.5. So 0.5 standard deviation is still okay, but if I score 6 and someone else scores 7, this is a problem, right? And Pearson's correlation coefficient, how we would relate our score with each other. Like if I have the score 5.5, 6, and 6.5, and you have 6, 6.5, and 7, as long as we are consistent in providing scores, then our consistency index will remain the same. But when I give 6, the same pattern like 5.5, 6, 6.5, and someone else gives 4, 5, 6, 7, which is not consistent in this case, then we are ruining the inter-rater reliability. So we're aiming for this inter-rater reliability, not only personal reliability. So these numbers will help us with precision and consistency. So numbers don't lie, I think. In this case, we want to have some precise and consistent assessment. Validity assessment, again, valid, something is if something is valid, something is true, something is bound to be accepted, something is we're doing what we're doing. If we're rating the speaking, then the score represents the student's speaking performance. And then, of course, the statistic will improve with the data quality assurance among us that, okay, the Espresso tutors are uh, well qualified because they have quality insurance, internal quality insurance in their institution. So in this case, this is one step that can help us improve the quality insurance and of course, accountability of the institution and of the person. Let's talk about IELTS writing context. IELTS writing context. So what do we do by right now, like as IELTS tutor? This is what I usually do. Let me click this link to for you to see. So you will see that this is the patch that I usually use as my whiteboard. I provide some grammar notes, and then at the bottom, I ask them to do the writing, of course. That's what we also do. And then we correct the grammar, right? Excuse me, we correct any issues with the writing. For example, the grammar, the vocabulary, the coherence, and then we give our judgment based on what we do. So I give example first. So this is my own work. I can use ChatGPT or else. And then this is someone else's work. So a student's work named Ricky. I corrected the grammar. I corrected the wording. Perhaps I add some idea like the correction of preposition and so on. And based on this, I give the student score estimate, right? And this score estimate is based on my experience. I took the IELTS test 4 times in 2012, in 2015, in 2017, and 2020. And from these 4 experiences, I give my own judgment. So I compare the student's performance with my performance, which is somehow um, problematic because I try to compare that person with another person and I don't look at the score rubric sometimes because, yeah, I know this is a practice. So I know the idea of what the student will achieve. This is what we call as halo effect, and we don't want that, right? So let me go back to my slide. So here, that's what we did. That's what most of us have done so far. But there's a problem with the severity and the leniency, right? Whether we provide the score very severe and whether lenient. Okay, if someone deserves the score 6, then a severe rater will give like 5 or 4.5. But if someone that's very lenient can give 7, for example, but the true score is 5. So which one is reliable in this case? So what is meant by the halo effect? Halo effect is based on the rater's perception on it. That's what I have, right? But if we uh, it relates with analytical scoring and holistic scoring. So if someone deserves the score 6 overall, right? And then if I need to score the the writing, when we talk about the test response, the grammar, the vocabulary, and then the coherence, then I will just look at, oh, from this 6, I will not go beyond 6. Like I will not give someone 9 or 4, but depending on how this relates to the overall score, right? So I start with the overall and then I go with the analytical, which is not wrong, which is not right. We should start with the analytical first and then do the holistic to the end. Okay, so for what I propose, sorry, what I propose is we need to define what do we agree with from the business viewpoint. If the real score of a student say 6, then from the business viewpoint, it would be better to give him the score 5.5. The reason why is because if you give the score 6 and then this person feels anxious during the test and he got 5.5, then they will blame us, to be honest. And if we give this person 5.5 and he performed worse in his real IELTS exam, then we are fine because we gave him 5.5. So I would propose to have, in terms of business viewpoint, this is good because we are giving the base score, not the highest estimate, but the lowest estimate, so that this student can improve. And if we get a higher score, this is great, of course. It's better to give a lower score than a higher score in this case. How much do we agree with each other? That's why I propose to have descriptive statistics of how we perform, what scores do we provide for different students, and then I will be happy to run persons R. It's a statistical measurement to measure correlation and Cohen's kappa to determine the reliability score. And then this should be done through rater training, or you need to have a rating training. And perhaps Aspresso can facilitate to provide an AI subscription that will cost about uh, several 100,000 rupees per month. But we can talk more about it. But AI can help us improve our scoring. That okay, we give 6, and the AI also gives 6. So in this case, we have some pickup like supplementary support in this case. What about the IELTS speaking context? Similar to us writing context, uh, the students' performances are scored based on our own idea of what the best IELTS speaking performance is. That's why in my class, I usually play this video about Brandon, and I want you to listen to this. And this is scored 9. Okay? He was scored 9, and I agree this person needs to get the score 9. Let me show you why it is so. So I give the standard, this is the gold standard, the 9.0. I myself scored 8.0 in my last speaking. I'm not perfect speaker, of course, but I know what is the ideal score of 9, right? But then what I usually do, perhaps you also do that, guys, is to provide personal interpretation of the speaking rubric, comparing the student's performance with the other students, right? And sorry, this is so yeah, in grading our speaking score, I usually do this. I use my personal interpretation of the speaking rubric based on what I have been trained by my previous IELTS tutor back then in 2012. And I would compare the student's performance with the other students' performance. And there's a question mark. Comparing the student's performance with ours, and this is wrong actually. It's a flat profile. We sometimes go flat. Okay, I think I'll go with 6. I think I'll go with 5.5 or 5. This is what we call as flawed analytical scoring because um, we don't look based on the rubric. There's no certain standard. There's a lot of subjectivity happening in this score. So we don't want that. We want to be more objective, even though subjectivity sometimes is inevitable. So similar to the previous point, we need to agree with this. Based on the patient viewpoint, we need to know how much do we agree with each other and how far we are willing to scale up or scale down our score. I would, for example, I would give 6 before the training, but after the training, I would give 6.5 or higher because I'm a bit severe in giving score, for example. So again, the use of AI may also be helpful. Thank you. That's my presentation, but I would like to show you two things. Close just three things. This is the website that I use that I propose for us to use UpScore with AI. Simple, it's straightforward, and it also gives some feedback that we need from the touch response scores, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, strengths, what the students are good at, and top areas of improvement, and so on. And it has also some samples that we can learn from if we want to get the score 7. So we do not base our scoring on our own judgment, but this AI can also provide what does an essay 7 looks like, for example. There's another AI scoring, which is for IELTS speaking, but it's called Gable.ai, but I'm still waiting how I'm scored based on my performance. But if you have other options, let me know. Basically, have us, I want to have a high reliability scoring with me, with you, and with the others, so that we can be a better tutor in this case. And then, of course, we are doing our professionalism in terms of an IELTS tutor. Thank you. I'll see you guys.